Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into the hidden architecture of the English language. We're going to start small, literally microscopic, by looking at the precise Latin and Greek roots that build our everyday vocabulary. Then, we'll zoom way out to see how these tiny foundational puzzle pieces actually give us the power to translate massive historical texts. Because, believe it or not, whether you're cramming for a vocabulary test or trying to decipher how people lived centuries ago, the underlying code, it's exactly the same.
Okay, let's look at the agenda. First, we'll explore the evolving mechanics of language. Second, modern usage and wordplay. Third, translating the medieval past. And finally, why word origins actually matter.
So I want to start by throwing a question your way. What do complex, SAT-level words like subterfuge or cacophony have in common with, say, a 13th century medieval history text? Well, it all comes down to structural connection. It's basically the DNA of the English language. If you can crack the code of just a single word, you hold the exact same key that historians use to unlock the secrets of our past.
Section 1. The evolving mechanics of language, focusing on the building blocks of English.
Let's take a word like cacophony. Now, officially, it means a harsh discordance of sound. But let's look at the roots here. Keiko simply means bad, and phone means sound. So this seemingly complex vocabulary is really just a simple puzzle. When you know the pieces, the whole thing becomes incredibly obvious, right? If you hear a terrible, out-of-tune band playing, your brain can instantly translate that to bad sound. Boom, cacophony.
Here's another brilliant example of root mechanics in action: subterfuge. The exact dictionary meaning is evasion or a deceptive stratagem. But again, let's break it down. Sub means at a lower position or under. Fug means to flee, run away, or escape. So subterfuge literally translates to fleeing underneath the radar. It's an evasion. When you realize that sub means under, like submarine, and fug means flee, like fugitive, the word subterfuge suddenly paints this incredibly literal, vivid picture in your mind.
And honestly, recognizing a quick cheat sheet of prefixes like this can instantly level up your reading comprehension. For instance, if you see ab, you know the word has something to do with being taken away, like abduct. If you see ob, it means against, which gives us words like obfuscate, deliberately making something difficult to understand, or working against clarity. And as we just saw, sub means below. That gives us words like substantiate, which means to provide evidence to support a claim, or literally to stand below it to hold it up.
Moving on to Section 2, modern usage and wordplay, exploring language in everyday life.
Now that we've got a handle on these microscopic building blocks, it's super fascinating to see how dictionary sites like Merriam-Webster highlight words with similar roots that have completely diverged in our modern conversation. Take officious versus official. They sound almost identical, right? And they both stem from the concept of duty or service. But today, if someone is official, they're authorized, they're legitimate. But if someone is officious, yeah, they're just annoyingly meddlesome, trying to assert authority where they have absolutely none. The root is identical, but centuries of human behavior and conversation have just pulled their meanings in completely opposite directions.
And look, because language is inherently human, it's also supposed to be fun. Dictionary sites don't just act like strict grammar police. They actually explore the quirky side of our vocabulary. They dig into highly relatable trivia, like plant names that sound like insults. Or they trace the origins of internet slang and restaurant industry terms, like what it really means to 86 in order. Exploring the surprising origins of financial words or looking at the longest words ever created just goes to show that language is a living, breathing, and honestly pretty hilarious thing.
But hey, don't let the wordplay fool you, because people still actively and fiercely debate grammar. This proves that the original root meanings of words absolutely still matter today. For example, Merriam-Webster frequently addresses the so-called incorrect use of the word decimate. Historically, tracing back to its Latin root deci, meaning 10, to decimate meant a very specific Roman military punishment where 1 in every 10 soldiers was killed. But today, people just use it to mean absolute total destruction. Language purists will passionately argue for the root meaning, while modern speakers push for the evolved one. It's fascinating. The roots of our words are quite literally still fighting for their place in our modern sentences.
Section 3. Translating the medieval past, decoding history.
Let's see how this builds and bridge the gap from modern dictionary debates right back to historical records. Take a look at this volume, The English Manner, circa 1200 to 1500, translated and annotated by Mark Bailey. This brilliant piece of work is part of the Manchester Medieval Source Series, and it shows us exactly how deciphering heavily rooted languages like medieval English and Latin completely unlocks entire historical eras for us. The exact same root word decoding skills we just used to break down subterfuge or cacophony are the exact tools historians like Bailey used to translate complex, dusty administrative records from medieval manners.
What's truly incredible today is how modern digital resources are dedicated to bringing these foundational texts straight to our screens. Platforms like Medieval Sources Online bring this high-quality historical source material right to our desktops. It provides unrestricted access to translated primary sources that are absolutely 100% central to understanding how medieval society actually functioned.
And the sheer scope of what these linguistic translations unlock is staggering. Through these expertly translated sources, we gain direct, unfiltered insight into the diverse cultural conditions of the past. We can read first-hand accounts about the lives of women in England from 1275 to 1525, or see the catastrophic societal impact of the Black Death, explore the experiences of the Jews in Western Europe, or read the chronicles of the Revolution. It just proves that translation and language are the ultimate keys to accessing the human experiences of our ancestors.
Section 4. Why word origins matter. Taking a look at the big picture.
So the crucial point is tying this entire journey together, from the tiniest morpheme to the largest historical text. Learning is a direct continuum here. Step 1, you learn the basic roots, like mal for bad or bene for good. Step 2, you apply that to understand a modern vocabulary word, which gives you an edge in your daily reading. But Step 3 is where the magic really happens. Those exact same decoding skills allow translators to parse through ancient Latin texts, which leads directly to Step 4, uncovering the past. It's wild to think about, but the linguistic skills you use to ace a GRE vocabulary test are fundamentally the exact same tools used to translate 13th century manor records and preserve human history.
Which leaves us with this final provocative thought. We've seen how tracking root words from centuries past unlocks history for us today. But think about the slang and the crazy dictionary wordplay we're generating right now. How will the idioms and the casual language we use today be translated, broken down into roots, and interpreted by historians 500 years in the future? Will they understand our jokes, or will they completely misinterpret our slang? Remember, you are participating in the ongoing timeline of linguistic history every single time you speak. Thanks for joining me on this explainer. Keep questioning the words you use, and I'll catch you next time.